Yo guys, what is going on? It is Invin here, and today what I wanted to bring to you guys is a video on my initial and first impressions to the 3v3 arenas in New World. Now, these are live currently on the PTR version of the server, so obviously take what I'm saying here with a pinch of salt, as they do probably still have about 2 to 3 weeks worth of development before they are fully released, so there is chance to fix a couple of, let's say, issues, the little sound glitches, that sort of stuff, which I'm going to cover in today's video, but I kind of wanted to talk about it, my overall experience in it, and how I'm finding them so far. Now, it is worth me prefacing this video with kind of a little contingent that is, I'm actually really enjoying this. I've played New World since the alphas of the game, and this is one of the first bits of content that's come out and is instantly fun straight away for me. I know everybody's going to be slightly different on what they prefer. I really like the expeditions. That was the other thing that when they first were released into the game, I was like, yeah, these are good. This is the other thing that I've really enjoyed, and yes, it's got a couple of issues at the moment. Yes, we could do with some balance changing, particularly on the Blunderbuss, which I am going to talk about because that thing is a nightmare in the arenas. But there is pretty much a counter to everything, and if you're happy to accept that some things are going to be more powerful in a small-scale environment, which I think is the nature of the beast with the arenas, then this actually becomes pretty fun pretty quickly. Now, paired in with the video I made yesterday about the reward tracks and such of this nature, where you can rank up your PvP rank overall, get different tracks worth of rewards where you gain XP through things like the arenas after every single match, and that goes towards ranking you up, earning rewards, exclusive stuff, that kind of thing, which is always good. This is looking like it could be a pretty cool new feature, and is something that I, like I said, have been super enjoying so far. Now, before we fully jump into today's video, if you haven't already done so, please do make sure that you drop a subscribe down below to the channel if you would like to see more New World content. I upload every single day, so make sure you've got the notification bells on so that you don't miss out on any of my content. And if you do go on to enjoy this video and enjoy this type of content where I'm talking about the new features in the game and that kind of stuff to keep you guys in the loop, then please do drop me a like, as well as that is massively supportive to the channel. And without further ado, we're going to jump into it. So firstly, I want to talk about here the actual mode itself. Well, 3v3 arenas is as it sounds. You get 3 players versus 3 players in a small arena style thing. If you take the priest arena out of the depths, it's essentially that, but a little bit expanded with 2 giant pillars in which one team spawns at one end, the other team spawns at the other, and they kind of have a pillar close to either spawn. The initial start to the match usually consists of trying to either get your way across if you're a melee, or get some initial pot shots off as a ranged player. If you're going to be a healer, you're probably going to be dancing around these pillars for the majority of the game. That seems to be the way that it's playing out the best right now, and it's more about the melee guys trying to catch you out and outplay you, which does add a certain level of skill and strategy to this as well, which I think is a great idea. Now, there is a ring of fire that gradually moves in. Once you get to about the 1 minute mark, you start to see it appear, and then it closes in and in and in and in and in until the end of the 2 minutes is up. So it will never last longer than a 2-minute round, which is really cool, and it does make this quite fast-paced, which is pretty good. Not good if you're on a losing streak, of course, but is good overall and makes it nice, fast-paced action, which is something that makes New World shine through really well. Now, it's the best of 5, so it's the first team to win 3 rounds, and I have had a lot of games where it's gone to 2-2, and then it's the playoff for the final round, so it is working pretty well so far, and it is quite an intense feeling experience, which I think that sometimes you lose in the 50v50 because it's about, you know, group play and working out the strategy. This is much more your actions count, you're very impactful on the battlefield, and of course certain roles are going to play slightly different ways. So you're going to have people who are tanking the hits and dropping CC, you're going to have someone who's purely DPS, and ultimately if you're going to go in with a full pre-made, you're probably going to have someone that is healing because it's very powerful. That being said, they are very squishy. Still, heavy armor, you get minus 30% reduction to healing, so you are still sitting around that medium, or most players are in that light armor, which does give you a chance to get the dodge roll, which actually in the PTR version of the game, you can actually roll out of things like the grav wells much easier. However, the ice wall, the ice shower is still a big problem. That being said, it hasn't got as much range, and you have got a lot of area that you can move in, particularly for the first minute whilst the ring isn't closing in. This is really good, so you do get a lot of chance to maneuver as a healer. It's just going to be more about dodging. Your tanks, your bruiser style of play where they're going in for the CC, hitting hard, hitting first, that sort of thing is really good. It is necessary for most teams, I would say, because generally you're going to see a lot of bows, a lot of rapiers, a lot of spears, that are just going to continuously CC lock you. So if you're in the heavy army, you can take a few of these hits. You can try to tank some of those things and then let your team do damage to the players that are attacking you, which seems to be a strategy many players have adopted so far. However, it is still early days. It's only been out for around 2 or 3 days at this point, so there is still probably a lot of strategy development to come. And then, like I said there, the third role is usually filled by a light or medium DPS. Light seems to be the preferred choice at the moment for the role because it does cover a big amount of distance. With the changes to the way that stamina regen works, you're generally getting off 2 rolls and then you got to wait for it to go, but you do get exhausted a lot easier. So some people are moving slightly more towards the medium, as you can do a double medium dodge and still have a little bit of stamina, so the exhaustion isn't applied, which is super useful. But I think that Hearty is therefore going to be something people are looking towards getting on their armor pieces for this mode a little bit extra. With that role, you're going to have people with Fire Staff, Ice Gauntlet, Void Gauntlet, Hatchet, Rapier, Spear, Bow. All of that good stuff is coming into play, even things like light bruisers, so your Great Axe Warhammer users in light armor just going absolutely ham, as you'll see from the gameplay. I did a bit of this myself and it is a lot of fun, so there's plenty of different option combinations, which I think is a bonus, and even things down to like the musket have been working really well in the arenas for pumping out a tremendous amount of damage. However, if you get caught, that's the trade-off, you haven't got much. People pairing this with the spear or the rapier have been seeing quite a bit of success though, so there is a lot of ways that you can incorporate basically every weapon in the game into the arenas. But, like I said at the start, there is some that slightly outshine. That is the Blunderbuss. We're looking at you. There is still the one shot with the sword and shield and the Blunderbuss where you can basically stun lock somebody and then just burst all of your abilities onto them, and that is an instant kill. Now, this is a bit of a problem, and I would like to see this tuned because it's not very fun when you're having a battle and somebody just interrupts with that and one-shots one of the players. Even if it's not yourself, it is still annoying because then you're 2 versus 3. So I would like to see these, particularly the combo of these abilities, looked at a little bit to maybe change some of it to damage over time rather than the initial burst, so that your healer actually does have a bit of a chance to keep you alive, because it is quite stressful at the moment. However, there is ways you can outplay this. If someone goes in for that combo and somebody else catches them, drop CC, for example. If you've got a Warhammer, it's a really good one. You can kind of knock people out of their sequence, and the other player can hopefully get out of the way a little bit. It is tricky to do, so like I say, I would like to see that tuned before this is released into the live version. That is the Blunderbuss, but there is ways you can counteract it, and I think if it does stay the same into live, people will have strategies. It is just something I would like to see worked on. And looking at the aesthetic of the arena itself, this is super, super cool. Like I said there, it's kind of got this corrupted feel to it. It's got a feel of fantasy, certainly around the way that it is designed. There is a little crowd on one of the edges, and that is going to be opposite to where you actually go to the spectator platform when you die in battle, so you can carry on watching but you don't have access to any of your abilities, obviously. And this is pretty cool. It gives another element, so you can kind of cheer on your team or kind of antagonize the enemies, whatever you want to do, be flexing in your booth or whatever. And it is quite cool to add that in. It's just a nifty little non-gameplay related feature, but it is very, very cool. And the kind of soundtrack is absolutely amazing. However, I have had non-stop bugs with it, so I've had to turn the music off. Again, hopefully this is fixed, because like I said, it's super epic. When you're in the middle of the battles, when you get to certain points throughout the round, the music changes. In the pre-match, the music changes, and it was very, very cool to see, and it was a good feeling when it was on, but I've had to turn it off because it was continuously bugging. Now, another thing that I have noticed that could do with an update before this is released is the mana regen. So if you're using spells when you go down, which is going to be most of the time if you're using a magic weapon, when you go for the respawn, it will continuously bug between 107 and 110 if you've got that extra bit of mana there, as if it's stuck in a mana regeneration loop. So again, this is a fairly small thing, but it is quite annoying to continuously get the sound effect and continuously see the bar flickering. So again, if that could be smoothed out before these are released, that would be super, super good. Now, there is people complaining about CC and about stun locking and about healers and all the different things that you could imagine with the release of 3v3 arenas, because it does highlight certain things. And whilst a lot of that is skill gap, some of it could do with being tuned slightly. However, looking at the patch notes from the PTR, I think a lot of players who haven't tried it out that are kind of saying, oh, well, healing's going to be overpowered, this is going to be overpowered. just read through the patch notes. I'm going to be making a video on the weapon changes very, very shortly here on the channel. There is a lot of differences that kind of make this work pretty well, and there is a lot of ways that you can strategize against certain builds. If there is something that's dominating you, you can change up your team's composition to really overcome a lot of this. And I've just been queuing with random players up until now. I haven't had a 3-man pre-made, so it just proves that even with some random teammates, you can still kind of change up what you're doing, change up your play style, change up your target focus, things like that to really enable you to win. But overall with these arenas, so far I am finding them a lot of fun. Like I said, probably one of my favorite features that has been added into the game since its launch, and certainly since the development stages. It's a lot of fun. It's something very different to what we've seen before, and it really showcases the hidden gem that is the small scale PvP in New World. I've had a lot of fun, like I said, just queuing with random players, meeting up with a lot of you guys that watch the channel, so I appreciate all of you for that support as well in game. It's really nice to see when you say hello to me. So that's been a lot of fun, and it's given me a chance to test out a lot of builds, obviously with it being the PTR, and it seems like most of the weapons and most of the weapon combinations are pretty much viable as long as you've got the skill to use them. There is obviously certain stuff that shines through, like the CC based weapons. You need to have at least one player on the team with that option so that you can shut people's DPS combos down. But other than that, you're looking pretty much free reign to run whatever you feel like is going to be fun, and that is something which I am really behind, because it's a great feeling to have, and lots of players are complimenting the playstyle. Obviously right now, as you'll see in the gameplay, some of it is a little bit laggy. It is a US based PTR server, and I am obviously from the UK, so therefore I have got a little bit of ping issues. Some players from kind of Europe area complaining about that. That is because we are, you know, transferring to the US to get that ping connection. So whether it's going to be fully stable when it comes out, I would hope so, but I can't fully judge that without having a regional server for me to test that on, so it wouldn't be a fair judgment. So I'm going to leave that out for now and see what it's like on the actual release. But the gameplay itself feels smooth. It's just the kind of connection and ping, not shots not hitting maybe every time, that sort of thing. And of course, combined with my accuracy, which isn't the 100% best accuracy it could be, it does sometimes fall a little bit short in this PTR. So we'll maybe stick to the melee weapons for now, but it is a lot of fun. I think it's one of the best features they've released, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I would urge all of you to try this out on the PTR if you haven't done so yet. Give them any feedback that you think along the way, and if you have tried it out, let me know down below in the comments what you think so far. Do you like the feature? What would you like to see changed before it's released? And what is your favourite thing about it? Do you like the playstyle? Do you like the aesthetic? Do you like the way that each weapon's incorporated? Let me know in the comments down below. But other than that, that's going to be it for my initial impressions and first thoughts on arenas in New World. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please do be sure to subscribe and like down below, as both of those things massively help to support me and my content here on the channel. And other than that, I will catch you again very shortly with a brand new upload. So thank you for your time, thank you for watching, and peace.